These TikTok challenges almost cost them their lives, and this is hands down one of the most infuriating videos I've made, because today we're talking about some extremely dumb TikTok challenges slash trends and some of the worst friends one could possibly have. Because what if I told you that for a small price of, your life, you could potentially go viral on TikTok for a few days before you likely are forgotten until the next idiot does something equally as stupid and, the cycle repeats. Unfortunately, that is a no-brainer for so many. Or at least it feels like it, because how many people end up hospitalized or even worse, all in the hopes of hitting the For You page of TikTok? Unfortunately, a whole lot of people. Honestly, no brainer is quite literal, because you can't be playing with a full deck of cards, so to speak, if you're willing to participate in some of these TikTok trends. Or you're just young, and unfortunately, so many of these kids are just too young to know better. You would think they should know better, but hey, we all do extremely stupid stuff when we're kids. But regardless, if you're a kid, you should still know that you can't just free solo climb city infrastructure like Alex Honnold, or survive being choked until unconscious. Because these days, we've completely moved past dumb trends like the cinnamon challenge and planking, which, to be fair, did actually claim some lives. But while those trends were just extremely dumb, what we have today is just a whole new level of stupidity. Like extreme versions of urban exploring. Before, urban exploring was pretty niche, and I feel like a lot of people have, done urban exploring in their teenage years, but now it's extremely viral because you have all these viral clips of teenagers or young adults breaking into rooftops of skyscrapers while playing whatever trendy TikTok music. And this goes extremely viral, so a bunch of kids repeat this. But if you don't know, urban exploring is essentially when you investigate abandoned, hidden, or restricted structures. Usually the more dangerous and off limits, the better for views. And I'm sure plenty of people have teenage stories of, finding abandoned houses or exploring restricted areas, but it was likely never even close to anything risky like we're covering today. Because, with social media now, just one post of you with your feet dangling off of a skyscraper can make you viral overnight. And this behavior sort of did for the 16-year-old by the name of Frankie Aloca, who made the news after he unfortunately fell down a 50-foot shaft in a New York City bridge as a part of this social media challenge. Because what started as a journey to get photos for social media ended with Frankie in critical condition and suffering from both brain and spinal injuries.
What were you and your friends doing out there on the bridge?
We just wanted to climb the bridge and just get pictures for social media and just get views of the city.
And I feel like the most insane part of this whole story is the fact that he was reportedly with a group of friends at the time of the incident, and friends who not only didn't even try to help him when he fell, but actually left him and took his phone and disposed of it. How much has childhood changed for people? I remember growing up, I would ride or die for my friends. We were brothers. Now, did we ever do stuff that would get us killed? No. But there is no world. Yeah, no, we did do stuff that would probably get us killed. But would I ever leave my friend to die? Hell no. Let alone leave my friend injured. Never. I would happily take whatever trespassing charge I would get to save my friend. That does not make sense. And before you go, oh, they were just teenagers, maybe they were just scared and they didn't know better. These kids also filmed Frankie's fall and his screams and cries for help before they just decided to ditch him there.
The other teams who were with him start climbing down the bridge.
Bro, Frankie is...
What kind of evil human beings are these people? Also, did they literally just run because they were worried about getting in trouble? It's a trespassing charge. You're leaving your friend to die because you're scared of a trespassing charge? This just goes to show how much some kids have been fried by social media. Because what makes this even worse is they apparently shared these videos in an Instagram group chat filled with other similar urban explorers. And yes, in these videos, you can almost hear them excitedly screaming that Frankie passed away. There has to be some sort of charge for them to catch for this, because this is insane. You have to be a next level kind of scumbag to film your friend possibly passing away and then sharing it online while he's still trapped in pain. Now, Frankie fell at 3 p.m., but it wasn't until 5:46 p.m. that an 18-year-old who knew some of these kids called 911. So thankfully, they did film this and post it into a group chat. And thankfully, there was someone in that group chat that had some compassion and human decency to be like, wait a second, he's down in that shaft. We need to call for help. So at 5:46 p.m., there was an 18-year-old who knew some of those kids and called 911. And she says they started talking about in their WhatsApp group chat, saying they were scared of catching a murder charge, which made her realize that no one had reported this to the police yet. And Frankie was likely still stuck where they'd left him. I mean, these kids are actually a next level of stupid, because the fact that they didn't immediately call for help and try to help him means they could be liable for something way worse than what the trespassing charge they would have gotten if, you know, they waited around and actually helped their friend. But also, it's just crazy how you watch your friend potentially pass away and the first thing you're worried about is yourself. Like, come on. But since the friends fled, there was no one to point the first responders in the right direction. So even though they had arrived at the scene, it took hours before they finally found Frankie. And honestly, this is just so eerie. They didn't even find him at first. They found blood and then a shoe, which then finally led them to Frankie.
Once I saw the shoe and the blood, I just relayed that information to the rest of the members on the scene so we could all get the ball rolling on what we were going to use to retrieve this victim once we laid eyes on them. We retrieved the victim about 60 feet, 50 feet.
And thankfully, he was still alive, but barely. And by the time he was fished out and lowered to safety, he'd been trapped in this tiny shaft for about 6 hours, bleeding and freezing. And Frankie's mom said he's expected to live, but he'll have to learn how to walk again because, like I said, he suffered a brain injury, spinal injuries, as well as hyperthermia. Not to mention all the psychological trauma that you would get from, nearly passing away and being abandoned by the people you thought were your friends. I mean, that is just, again, it's so messed up. But Frankie's mom started a GoFundMe to help with medical costs, and a petition was started on change.org to arrest the kids who stood by filming until they left him for, his last moments. So far, 3 teens have actually been arrested in relation to this, 2 14-year-olds and 1 15-year-old. I don't know. I mean, I'm still just shocked at the selfishness in these kids that they saw that happen to their friend and they were more worried about themselves than their friend who they just witnessed potentially pass away. So now, I mean, all thanks to wanting to go viral, 1 kid's life is forever changed and 3 others have potentially ruined their own lives if these charges stand. But they're all minors, so most likely this will get wiped away by the time they turn 18. But who knows? But I mean, it's getting to the point where it's not even surprising. I've covered so many stories like this where people just blatantly destroy their own lives for the chance of going viral on social media. Because we've covered people losing their lives for participating in trends like dusting before, which is just another way to describe, how do I describe this? Let's see. Essentially, Brianna took a air cleaning product or like pressurized air, I think it was, and she did something with it. And I have to be really careful because one of my videos covering this actually got demonetized. But unfortunately, Rena O'Rourke became brain dead from doing this trend, and she tragically passed away in the ICU. Or we witness tragedies happen while people are filming harmless pranks like teenager Michael Bosman, who was fatally shot while filming a Ding Dong Ditch prank video for TikTok with his friends. And they did a modified version of Ding Dong Ditch, where the TikTok version of it is you run up and you jump kick someone's door. And if multiple people are doing it in a row, so if you have a group of like 5 friends who run up and each jump kick the door, it sounds like someone's trying to kick in your front door. And naturally in America, you have the Second Amendment. In most states, you can actually use the Second Amendment. So what do people do? They grab a firearm and they aim it at the door. So if they keep thinking people are trying to kick in their door, what do you think can happen? And unfortunately, what you think could happen is what happened to Michael here. And this is just an ultimate tragedy because Michael lost his life, his friends are absolutely traumatized, and the homeowner is being charged right now. And all for what? Like, it's so sad. And what's even worse is they eerily predict Michael's tragic future by saying,
yeah, we just waiting to get shot.
Okay, yeah,
pretty much. You know what? Anything for the content. Anything for the content.
We're gonna get shot. Anything for content. I mean, that is crazy. And that's really just the bottom line of these trends because people are well aware of the risks they're putting themselves into. They just don't really care until it's too late. Like, if it'll land them on the Explore page, I guess it's worth it. And yeah, to be clear, no, it's absolutely not worth it. I mean, just look at the whole Kia Boys challenge. Like, people were stealing and crashing cars to film videos and post on social media. And that resulted in 4 people losing their lives. And I guess that's just something that comes with the territory now.
Guys ready? All right, guys, honest question. So if that car would have gone out of control and swerved and hit me and I died,
should have got out the way.
if the car hit me, it would have been my fault.
Hell yeah, you should have ran. You seen that much.
I don't know why, but my entire setup crashed, but I did want to talk about one more person because there's also a TikTok doctor. Because by saying, hey, they, lost their life from TikTok, that doesn't always mean like, physically losing their life. This TikTok doctor essentially lost her life in the way of the life that she knows it no longer exists because she couldn't stop clout farming on TikTok. I don't know why. So this woman decided to go live on TikTok over and over again while performing surgery. And unfortunately, she botched surgeries while she was streaming on TikTok. And you could see on TikTok that it seems like she was more interested in engaging with the chat than actually going through with the procedures. So yeah, I wanted to mention that as well. Other than that, thank you guys for enjoying this video. If you enjoyed it, please drop a like on it. Feel free to subscribe if you're new here. And now I gotta go figure out why my camera's not working. So until then, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.